We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin.
And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is from Tennessee hot sauce, it is the honey habanero hot sauce. And where do they give this for heat? Oh, right in the middle. Probably about right. No, this is I find this a bit on the lower side. But it's not, it's not like they're saying it's scorching or anything like that. So if they're putting it in the middle, they're saying it's about a 5-ish for heat. I would say it's, I believe, you can check me out at the written review in the description down below. But I believe I gave this a 1 in terms of heat. But part of what these videos are is to sort of cross-check myself for the written review. And occasionally, as I get into these more, sometimes the different characteristics will change a little bit and I'll go back and correct it. We have batch 10 here. And so we have vinegar, water, habanero, bell peppers, honey, garlic, lime, salt. I noticed that lime seems to show up a lot in their formulations. So possibly they have a base of ingredients that just sort of goes into everything, sort of a signature thing possibly. Lime happily does not play very heavily into this sauce. It is, as you can see, very loose. There's a lot of particulates in it. And let's take a look at it in the old light spoon. This very, very lovely sort of vibrant, I guess I would call it an orange, maybe even it tinges towards red in the center, but to me it's more orange. It's a lighter sort of orange, though. It's not a it's a very, very vibrant color, but it's not a super dense orangey, I guess, if that makes any sense. But very nice. You can see, you can see some of the bits and pieces and whatnot in there. Very, very appealing visually, this sauce is, I find. But let's get into the flavor. The honey is very present, very nice. It does give way to the vinegar and to the habanero, and then there's a back current as well of the honey. This is a beautiful sauce. Very gorgeously designed. I wish it was slightly thicker. Not a lot of complaints here. That's I think kind of my main complaint actually, is that I just wish it was slightly thicker. Flavor-wise, is another fantastic sauce from the Tennessee Hot Sauce Company. So I've had 3 of their sauces so far. I'm going to find more. I think there's like 1 or 2 more I'm going to do. But other than the pineapple habanero, and you can check out that review. Maybe up by the time you see this, maybe not. There is a written review for it, of course. I don't know if the video is going to be up by the time this one is up. But you can check that out if you're interested in it. That one, for me, was not quite, I guess, what I was hoping for. But this one and the Blood Orange Ghost are just beautiful, brilliant sauces. And one thing I love about Tennessee Hot Sauce is their website is just got all these awesome pairings and recipes and stuff. And I very, very seriously applaud that. And I wish every hot sauce company did that. So I can't really say enough good things about Tennessee hot sauce in that respect. I am so pleased with what they're doing there. And the sauces, two of them have been pretty great. The pineapple habanero, to me, I don't, not to belabor that point too much, that I made it in both the written review and the video, but I don't feel like there's a need for cinnamon, not to spoil too much in that type of sauce. And that was a thing that I couldn't get away from. I'm just not a fan. It just didn't work for me. But so here we have this, and that's what we're gonna be having today. I'll bring it on in a second. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. I'll bring it on in a second, but there is something about this. So let's go to the footage I filmed earlier. Okay, so this is the new line from Chef Gordon Ramsay. The by Chef Ramsay is see, that's the sort of name of these things, and there's a bunch of different varieties exclusive to Walmart, and a lot of them I can't say I'm super interested in trying, but I did pick up a few of them just to see kind of where these are going to fall. Certainly a very well publicized chef, and short of going to a restaurant or trying to be on one of the shows, which obviously is something that I don't have any particular interest in doing. Trying some stuff from Gordon Ramsay, this is a very smart thing to make it accessible. Now, here's kind of where there's a hiccup. This and all these are $6 a throw at Walmart, which makes them at least twice as expensive of something like Marie Callender's or Healthy Choice or what have you. So these things are generally twice as expensive. Even if you look at the full price, you can get the Marie Callender's most of the time for $2 to $3 a throw. Even if you look at the full price of this, it is still more expensive than everything out there. I mean, that's fine. They're supposed to be different. They're supposed to be recipes nobody else is doing. Nobody's doing a British style beer battered pollock fish bite and thick cut potatoes. So the potatoes, there's not a lot to these. In fact, we'll get into this here in a second. What's interesting about this though is they don't have try to throw it in the microwave or anything like that, because what's interesting to me anyway is that they tried to take the idiot consumer out of the equation to the extent possible, right? So I'm opening this in front of you. You can see there is no serving tray here. It's bags. You get bags. That's what you get. So you can take the bags, and you can see this is maybe half a potato. It's not even a full one. It's maybe half a one, and it's just run through a press, and there you go. And we've got this is probably by weight, I'm assuming, because I had another pack of these, and there was actually 6 in them. But we're going to be taking this over to the air fryer. So basically, what it is we're going to take it over to the air fryer and let it go for 7 minutes, and then we'll toss it, and we'll let it go for another 7 minutes. And when you see it again, we will be saucing it up. Okay, so did it work? Did it work taking the idiot out of the equation for the design of this? So we see here these are not particularly seasoned, other than what was in the bin of the air fryer. So not a lot of, this is the second time I've had this, not a lot of seasoning to these. Almost none, in fact. So usually when I see people, you get a duel today. You get me talking about this by itself without any accompaniment, and then you get me talking about with. Usually when I see people say pub style chips or British style chips or English style chips, it generally is a fry with a batter on it, a very light batter, a coating of some kind on it. These are very clearly just cut and frozen potatoes. There's nothing, there's no particular seasoning to this or anything like that, which I find kind of hilarious, because if you watch any of Gordon Ramsay's stuff, and you can learn a lot from it, but if you watch any of it, constantly talking about how important seasoning is. So, very super bland potatoes, other than what flavor might have happened to be in the bottom of the bin of the air fryer, or possibly a little bit from the skin. Yeah, very pure potato taste there. Let's try one of these fish sticks. And here we can see this. Oh, good God. So we have some crispiness. So I think texture is really what the idiot that was meant to be taken out of this equation was supposed to be for, is the texture. Because you're not going to have anything crispy if you put it in a microwave with the plastic cover on the top. You're just going to trap all that condensation. You're going to mush any of this, which is why most of them that you buy, you know, they'll tell you to either peel the plastic away from the fish or what have you, or to just do it a different way. But if you give somebody a tray, let's be real here. People buy, and I say this as someone who's had a lot of them, people buy TV dinners and frozen dinners and stuff like that because they're lazy. I don't want to cook every single time. So I'm looking for something quick and easy and at least acceptable. And this one, the crispiness of the fish is there, but this batter it's very, very thin, but it is bland. There's not a lot of flavor to these. And maybe there's not supposed to be for British fish and chips. I don't actually know. But, you know, maybe it's just supposed to be a base for the malt vinegar or whatever they put on them there. But we're not doing that. We're going to put this on there. Fish is one of the things that the website suggested. And we're going to put it on fries too. That's not what they actually put on there, but that's what we're going to do. See, you can see where when you pour it, it comes back along the threads of the cap. That is the thing that I wish wasn't happening, and it wouldn't happen if it was a thicker sauce, I feel like. Flavor-wise, I love this. I don't love that part of it, though. That part's kind of annoying. But flavor-wise, and it's thin, so you do get quite a bit of vinegar in it. So it is this interesting realm where this sauce kind of resides, where it's I guess you'd probably use it more where you would use like a Louisiana style, a looser sauce like that. I could be fine in something like a mac and cheese. All right, so definitely improved the fish with this. I mean, a nice honey habanero sauce is just beautiful. Two of the sauces I loved a lot this year were from Local Hive, and that's essentially what they were as well. They were notably thicker. I'm not saying it needs to be thick to that extent. I would have preferred a bit more thickness to this. They're fascinating on these fries. It almost seems like it shouldn't work. But here, the astringency works against it a little bit, but the flavor of the honey and the habanero just, it is so delicious and so accessible. Definitely carrying the day. And you can see where it's actually soaked into the breading here because it's so thin. One of the other, I guess, issues, if you will, with the looser sauces. But, you know, it causes a bit of a dilemma if you try to put it on, say, pizza, for instance, because, you know, you have the grease of the cheese and the meats or whatever. What does it have to soak into? I mean, there's really nothing there. So good pizza sauce needs to be able to maybe smooth out a little, but it needs to float essentially on top. The watery ones just have a very, very difficult time doing that. Even, say, something like a honey, if you're not super judicious putting a honey on a pizza, it gets a lot runnier as it warms up. And then you have a sticky mess. You know, it tends more towards water when you heat it up. So, I don't love these fries. I have made some salt pepper fries on this channel when I made the poutine. You can check that out in the everything else playlist. Maybe I should do a cooking playlist someday, but those salt and pepper fries were just fantastic. Probably among the best fries I've ever had. These, meanwhile, I feel like I don't know. I don't know enough about authenticity to say this is something that you would see, and I can't imagine just running raw potato through a chopper is what they would consider that over there, but maybe it is. I don't know. But I don't know if they use batter. I don't know if that's a thing or if that's just what we call it here in America. And certainly, you know, Gordon Ramsay is obviously a very, very highly skilled chef. And I think like stuff like this, I think is really, like his approach, I think is really smart. But was this plate that you saw the plate, is that $6? Cleverness aside, half a potato and 3 fish wedges, is that $6? What I think is kind of interesting is I've spent a lot of time recently. I somehow got into a bunch of Gordon Ramsay clip channels where he goes to Kitchen Nightmare Show, I think. And that was kind of entertaining. And then what's fascinating about that is his approach compared to that of Marco Pierre White. Marco Pierre White is a consummate maestro, an absolute master. And you can see the difference between someone who's very, very skilled, like Gordon Ramsay, but will still post errors like that grilled cheese sandwich thing that he did. Or I don't think you'd ever see Marco Pierre White even attempting this. Or trying to get his so-called uncle title back from Uncle Roger, which Gordon Ramsay also did. It is so wild to me looking at the difference between those two. And I mean, I'm not saying that I'm certainly at either of their levels. Like, I would say that I'm competent as far as any of that goes, but maybe a bit more than competent on a good day. But you know, when you do something like this, how do you manage to keep the standard, you know? This is a bunch of mass-produced. I mean, it's sitting right next to Guy Fieri's slop in the same display case, you know. So I've done other Gordon Ramsay recipes from time to time. And I'm kind of finding these dinners follow that pattern, which for me, I find it to be uneven. I say I think he certainly doesn't need me to tell him, you know, where he stands in the pantheon of chefs, but I find most of his stuff to be very uneven. Sometimes it's very, very good. This is the second thing I've had of the mainstay dishes. One of the ones so about half of them are what I wanted to try. There's, I think, like 8 total. They didn't have the Wellington things at the Walmart closest to me, so I haven't had a chance to try those yet. But I had the caper lemon chicken thing, which is probably the best chicken actually I think I've ever had in a frozen dinner. But overall, the dish is not. I mean, it was okay, but not something I think I would care to repeat. And I don't see where it's $6. The first fish and chips I had, I got 2 of them, and I had one before this a few days ago. That one was actually notably better than this one was. And I think that's kind of where I find the sort of unevenness with a lot of, even when I'm making his recipes. He's not the only chef I've seen do this, to try to throw something in there to be different for the sake of being different. Which is, I mean, it's good to have a framework you can trust. You can start keying it to different spicy stuff, you know, which is, I think, more my approach to things. But yeah, I've got another one still in the freezer, which is the mac and cheese, and that one I'm honestly kind of nervous about because frozen mac and cheese is you've seen the Devour a number of times, which the base is there's a lot of stuff in it, but I mean, to me it's pretty good, and it is just way overly rich. So it'll be kind of interesting to see where his falls in terms of that, and possibly, who knows, maybe it'll even be in a video if I like it well enough. But we're sidetracking. Definitely a mukbang today, right? We're really sidetracking. All right, so back to this. The sauce itself is just delicious. The sauce was better than anything I had as far as the food, and it definitely improved the quality of the experience of the food. Both the potatoes, although not as much, but the fish sticks, when I had that one plain, I didn't find that enjoyable. I found it quite a bit better with this stuff on it. So it is. I have not tried this on anything I haven't liked, but again, it's too runny to try it on a lot of stuff. So, you know, fair warning there. But it is just such an utterly delicious sauce. I strongly encourage anybody to give Tennessee hot sauce a try. They're just blowing me away, somewhat unexpectedly. I didn't see this coming, and definitely I'm super impressed. This is the second of 3 sauces I've had so far this year that has just been a delight. And again, heat is very low though in this one. It's, like I said, I gave it a 1. But the cool thing with stuff like this is when you have chili curious people and you're able to give them something that really delivers on flavor and has a little bit of a heat, that's really a very, very smooth entry point. I mean, this is to me almost a flawless gateway sauce, as long as they like somewhat loose and astringent sauces. Definitely a little bit high as far as vinegar. It's not like a Louisiana style canned sauce. It's a lot sweeter than that, but it's not quite as sweet as I would consider a normal sweet hot. So it's kind of in this really interesting middle area, and I think there's a lot of things. If it was thicker, I would say that you would have, it would definitely add to the flexibility. It would give you more things to put it on. But as it is, just a tremendous sauce, and flavor-wise, I don't think there was anything I could say as far as improving this one. It is fantastic. And we'll just leave it there. So that was the Tennessee Honey Habanero Hot Sauce. Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.